We will still wait for others to join. Okay, we can begin. Others may join when they can join. Okay, in the last session we have seen hello. In the last session we have seen the finally block, handling exceptions with multiple catch blocks. We have also seen nested exceptions, nested try-catch block. Anybody is having any questions in these topics, you can ask me right away. Is anybody having any questions in the topics covered in the last session? Handling exceptions using multiple catch blocks and single try block. Okay, good, good. We have also seen nested try catch blocks. Okay. And we have also seen, okay, fine, no issues. Yes, it's good, good, good. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Yes, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Okay, we have also seen the finally block, okay, for the collection of the resources, for emptying the resources at the last moment. We have also seen the finally block. Today I want to show you so I want to show you the throws throw and throws today. Okay. The other two keywords for handling the exception. Okay, we have seen try, we have seen catch, and we also have seen finally block. The question in the examination could come to difference between final keyword, finally, and finalize. Okay, these could be one of the questions in examination also. Also in interview they can ask this question for sure. Okay, today I want to show you other two keywords. We haven't discussed these two yet. Throw and throws. Okay, as the name suggests itself, they are used for throwing the exceptions. Try and catch. Catch is used to catch the exceptions. Try is going to have the statements which may or may not cause the exception. Okay. Throw and throws are the keyword which are used for throwing the exceptions, wherein again you will require the try and catch block to catch the exceptions. Okay. But throw and throws are actually used for throwing the exceptions explicitly. Let me show you with one example. First, I'm going to show you the use of the throw keyword. The actual use of throw keyword is to throw the exception explicitly, meaning you are purposefully throwing the exception. Like, for example, you are inputting the size of the array from user. Okay, you are inputting the size of the array from user. I am taking the scanners class object here. And we are inputting the size of array from user. User may or may not enter here negative values. Okay, and then you can check if the size is less than 0, then you can explicitly throw the exception here. Okay, now what do you mean by this exception and how you can throw it? That let me show it to you. Throws keyword is used to forcefully or purposefully throw the exception. The throws keyword, what it can throw, what you can usually throw, what is your main throwing, what is your function is throwing. Your function or the scope or the block will always throw the exception classes object whenever the exception is occurring. No, it is always going to throw this exception classes object to your JVM. And then if you are doing the code without try or catch, then the JVM is handling it and it is not handling it in a proper or graceful manner. That is the reason we are using try and catch to handle the exceptions gracefully and to print the correct message to the user, and also to have the normal execution of the program, we use try and catch. The same way, whatever this throw keyword, what you are throwing here, you are not asking the method to throw the exception object, but you are manually throwing the exception object using the throw keyword. Throw, along with that, you are going to mention here the object of the exception class that you have created. Okay, what exception class that you have created? Say, for example, here I want to throw negative array size exception. Okay, I want to throw the object of negative array size exception. Then I can throw the object of negative array size exception here explicitly or manually. How can we throw this object? By creating the object first. Okay, I'll create the object of negative size exception first. How to create the object? By simply calling the constructor of negative array size exception. Okay, and then I can throw this object OB manually. I don't want the void main to handle this. I want to throw the exception manually, but first for throwing the object, I need the object. No, so I'm creating the object of negative array size exception. I'm creating the object of negative array size exception using the default constructor, and then I'm throwing OB over here. Meaning what you are doing, whatever object you are creating here, you are simply throwing it. This is what void main is supposed to do, but no, you want to throw it manually, you are throwing it manually here. Okay. Now, who will catch this object? If you are throwing the object, somebody must be able to catch this. No. Who will catch this object? Currently, it is not being catched by anybody. Okay. It is currently catched by JVM itself because you are throwing it to JVM itself. It is not being catched by anybody because I haven't written the try catch block yet. Okay, currently it will be cached by JVM itself. It is going to be thrown to JVM itself only. Here what I am doing, I am simply creating the array. If there is no error in the size, no. If there is no problem with the size, no, then I am simply creating the array of that particular size. Okay, integer size. Simply, and I am simply printing that array is created. Okay. Now see what is happening here. Throw keyword is used to manually or explicitly throw the exception. Currently it is throwing the exception to JVM. It is throwing this object to JVM, and JVM is going to handle it in an abrupt fashion. Okay. So the program is not going to terminate successfully. I am entering the size 10 here. It is going to create the array properly because size is non-zero. If I run it again, now if I mention some negative size here, then again see, it is currently being handled by JVM, and JVM is not handling it gracefully. You have created the object, you are throwing it to JVM. Before I catch this, I want to show you one more thing. I can also see, you see the options here. The negative array size exception constructor is coming with the default message here, with no message here, and here it is coming with the detailed message that you want to print to user. Okay, I can also pass here string. What I am telling you is, I can also pass here string stating the problem with the size that you have entered. Okay, I can even create the object using this kind of syntax also, where I can mention here the message also. I am mentioning the respective message to the user. Where this message is getting printed, let me run and show it to you. It is currently handled by JVM. Okay, mind while I am throwing the object to JVM. It is currently handled by JVM. Entering the negative size over here. It is printing the message here itself. See, problem with the size that you have entered. So what I am doing currently here is, I am creating the object of negative array size exception along with the parameterized constructor with the string that you want to print as the message that you want to print here. I have told you before also, whenever the exception is occurring in the main or any of the function or any of the block or any of the scope, that the scope is going to transfer the exception object. Along with that, it is going to transfer the name of the exception class, description, meaning the message that you want to print here. That is what getting printed over here. No, with the JVM. JVM is simply printing this message over here. Okay. I am using the throw keyword explicitly because I want to handle the scenario accordingly. Why do we use these things? Because I see I am currently handling my code in a custom fashion. Whenever, say for example, we are writing a program for inputting the radius from user and calculating the area of the circle, then also I can do the same thing. Whenever the radius is less than 0, at that time only I want to throw a particular exception. Are you getting the use of throw first? Throw is used to throw the exception manually or explicitly because it is a purposeful throwing. You want to throw the exception because of the program logic itself. You want to throw the exception when, say for example, whenever the delta, where you are calculating the roots of the equation, okay? Whenever the delta method, if you remember in your 10th grade, you might have done this. You are calculating the roots of the equation, but even in the program you have done this in assignments also using b square minus 4ac formula, right? If the delta's value is coming negative, then you cannot find real roots. You can also check the same condition here also. Whenever the delta is becoming negative, no, you are throwing a arithmetic exception and then you are printing the message that this is not the correct value for delta, and you are handling it in that fashion. Okay. Are you getting the actual use of a throw first? Then we can go on to see how we can catch this or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Then I'm coming to the next thing. Depends on your logic, you can throw the exception in your personalized fashion. Okay. The previous exceptions that we have seen, we haven't seen it through the application perspective point of view, but here we are seeing it with the application perspective. Whatever you want to handle according to your wish, you can throw. Okay. Now, wouldn't it be ideal? See, how shall I put this in words? Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you is that according to the program's logic, there should be different types of custom exceptions also, right? The actual use of throws keyword is 2. I'm giving the ideal use of throw keyword. Okay, You can use it for inbuilt throwing exceptions also, like I've done it here also. You can use it for throwing the inbuilt exceptions also, but the ideal use of throw is for throwing the custom exceptions. You are creating a program specifically for calculating the area and perimeter of the circle, and if user enters a negative radius, no, there is no such exception class for such as, say for example, illegal radius, no, illegal input, okay, illegal input of radius. There is no such inbuilt class for this, okay. See, there is no such inbuilt class. There are so less number of class given to us that can handle limited exceptions only. But according to the program, the use of exception is going to vary. You may want to throw this illegal input radius, or you may want to throw illegal radius input or some your customized exception, okay. The ideal use of throw is to throw your customized exception. Throw the exception that you have created according to the application on where you are using this, okay. But currently I am showing the example with inbuilt exceptions. We are going to see the same example, similar one, but with custom later on. But the actual use of throw is you can manually, explicitly at whatever point in the program you want to throw, no, you can throw it. According to the logic of the program, you can vary the exceptions. That is what you can do with the throw. Okay, that is one thing. Another thing I am showing it to you. You need not, see, I am showing this to you. You need not to always create the object like this, okay. If you remember, this reference, this OB is just a reference that is storing the memory location of where the object has been created, okay. And why do we need this memory location? Because you're going to access methods like ob dot something. In simple classes also we have seen this thing. It is not mandatory to always create the object like this. I can simply, this you already have done before, okay, I'm just showing it to you here itself. You can also create the object simply by, by simply mentioning that I'm throwing here new negative RSS exception, okay. I need not to give this object here. I can simply throw here new, the size of the exception, the name of the exception class, and along with that I can also print the message. Again, it is your choice, okay. It is not mandatory to always use this syntax because you are throwing the object here. You can create the object before and then you can throw it, or you can simply create the object here itself and then throw it directly. Both the ways are okay. Both the ways are legal. There is no problem in the output. It is the same thing only, okay. There is no problem in here. If I mention negative one, it is going to show me the same message here that you have entered the incorrect value for the size. Either you can create the object properly, you can store it in a reference variable and then throw this object, that is also okay. Or if you don't wish to apply or use a memory for this, you can simply throw the exception here itself along with creating the instance or the object of that class. Both of the syntaxes are fine. There is no problem in the syntax, okay. Now coming to the catching of these exceptions. You are throwing it to JVM, but you are not catching it. The JVM is currently handling it in an abrupt fashion and the program is terminating abruptly, okay. If you want this program to run properly, you can definitely catch it, okay. I can precede this complete thing with a try block. I can finish this with a catch block, and whatever exception I've mentioned over here, no, I can definitely use this exception over here. See, negative RSS exception, I'm catching it over here, and then of course I can print the message in a proper fashion. I'm printing, say for example, just get message, it is okay for me. So definitely whatever you are throwing here, you can catch it here. Whatever you are throwing here, you can definitely catch it here. If you are not catching it, then JVM is catching it and handling the program in an abrupt fashion, which is not suitable for us, okay. So currently we are now, what we are doing, we are catching it according to our wish. We are catching exception over here, and then also the program is not going to terminate, it is going to, work fine, right? It is not going to terminate over here abruptly. If we hadn't cached it, no, then the program may terminate abruptly, right? You can catch it, whatever you have thrown, no, of course you can catch using try and catch. Try and catch are used for catching the exceptions only, but here you are explicitly throwing the exception and then you are catching it again, that can also happen, okay. Again, if you had your own exception class, no, catch can catch your own exception classes, that we are going to see it in the future session, of course, but if you had your own custom exception over here, no, catch can of course catch the custom exception that you have created initially, meaning catch can catch all the predefined exceptions also, and catch is capable of catching the custom exceptions also, which we are going to see later on. But both the things you can use like that only. But do you have any questions so far in what we can throw? We can throw custom exceptions. We can also throw inbuilt exceptions. According to the application, the throwing will change, and whatever you have thrown, no, you can definitely catch. Do you have any queries so far in this much? In this much, what we've seen?
Ma'am, can we create object of superclass?
Yes, of course you can create. I can create here. Simple, I can call the exception class, okay. And if I'm calling the exception class, then it should be catched, okay. I'm simply catching it over here. It can be catched. Then whatever you are, it is going to print the same message that you have printed here. If I remove this message, no. If I remove this message, then what will happen? It is simply going to print that it is not going to print the customized message. It is going to simply print that it is, it is created over here. I have to write -1. Yes. It is simply printing null over here, right? Because I haven't put any message over here. I haven't kept any message over here, right? So it is printing here null. I am simply getting the message. If I print the OB, no, then I can print here the whatever is generated. See, if I print here OB, then if I am printing that message, it is printing nothing. If I print here OB, no, then it is calling the lang exception. See, and I can also use that, that print stack trace. If you remember, we have done this in the last session. OB dot print stack trace. It is going to print the along with the line number where the exception has occurred. No, along with that it can print the message. Getting it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Because see, for negative this, no, there is no such inbuilt exception that can check. See, if you have radius less than 0, no, there is no such inbuilt exception for handling that. So you can throw any exception over here. See, even if I throw null pointer, no, the use of throw, I am giving you the actual use of throw. The actual use of throw is to throw the custom exceptions. Why? Because this is not a legitimate code. See, if the size is less than 0, I cannot throw legally or officially. Ideally, I shouldn't throw null pointer, but still I can throw it, right? See, I can still throw it. I can still know it is going to catch it for sure, right? But what I'm trying to say is, I have to make it here null pointer because I'm throwing null. No, I'm catching null. Okay, good. What I'm trying to say is, it should be custom exceptions because it is your customized application. No, so you can create custom exceptions for throwing it on an ideal purpose. But there is no point in throwing null pointer over here. It is simply going to print the error message. That's all it is going to do. But it is not a legitimate way of doing it, right? Because it is not null pointer. You're not pointing to a null block. It shouldn't be null pointer over here. So the actual use of throw is the ideal use of throw is to throw the custom exceptions. But however, you can throw any exception that you want. Okay, that is okay for you. Is anybody having any questions so far? Okay.
Form of the exception is an object itself, or we are storing into an object?
Doesn't matter. See, doesn't matter. Even if you want to store this in an object, doesn't matter. If you want to create null pointers object, no, it is okay. You can create null pointers object for sure. Either you want to pass here the message, or you want to keep it blank, totally your choice. If you want to pass your message, just pass it using double quotation string, and then you can throw this OB. Okay, doesn't matter. It is your choice how you want to work on it. Doesn't matter. You can directly club both the statements. I'm clubbing both the statements by simply mentioning this over here. I'm removing this. Doesn't matter. Got it?
Basically, the form of the exception is what? A class object or
always
data?
an object. Always an object. You can always throw the exception classes object you can throw. But exception class is already there for you. Okay, you are simply throwing the object of exception to JVM here. Got it? Yes. Along with the object, what is passed to JVM? Object plus what is passed? The name of the class. Okay. Object is there. The name of the class meaning null pointer exception is happening. No. Then the name of the class is passed. Along with that, the description of the error message, meaning this that you have printed over here. The message that you want over here, along with that is also passed. Along with that, the line number at which the error has occurred. All these things are passed to JVM when exception is occurring. Along with the object, these three things are also passed to the JVM. Got it?
Okay.
Yes. Yes, anybody having any questions so far? Okay, okay. Then I want to show you. I can show you before doing throws. No, I want to show you one more example. You can also create a separate function for inputting something. Okay. Say for example, this complete block of inputting. No, that I am doing it over here in this input function. Then can I write throw over here? Of course you can write throw, right? If the size is less than 0, no, then you can definitely throw here also. Any method is capable of throwing whatever exception you want. Okay, I'm creating the object here itself. I'm simplifying it. Negative, okay, negative size. I'm printing the message here. Okay, this is, I'm throwing the exception of arithmetic now here. Then how do we catch it? Who will catch it, and how does the program catch it? If I'm throwing the exception here in this function, no, then whenever you are calling the function at that time also you can catch. Huh? See, I'm showing it to you. I'm creating the object of test class. Okay, I'm calling the input function here. See, whenever I'm calling the input function, it is going to throw some exception over here. I can also catch the exception here itself. I can put try block, and I can also put catch block. And if the exception is occurring in this method, no, then it is going to catch over here. Again, that is also possible. Okay, I can print here ob dot, for example, get message. OB is defined. Okay, okay, OB is defined. No, I'm creating simple O. Okay, yes, there you go. See, I can simply catch it whenever the function is getting called, right? Because as and when the function is getting called, no, the control is transferred over here. It is throwing to new exception this, throwing an object of arithmetic exception. But are you able to catch it? Yes, I'm able to catch it. Then also, the program is going to work fine only. I'm entering the negative size, it is going to catch it properly, right? See, it is the control is transferred over here and it is printing the message. So even if the function is, so what I'm trying to say here is that even if you are throwing the exception explicitly, the control is still going to check in the caller also. This is the caller, right? Void when is the caller for this function, right? Whenever you are calling the function, no, the control is always transferred to the caller first. Is the caller handling it? Then okay, I'm going to catch it. If the caller is not handling it, then only it is thrown to JVM. I'm showing it to you with one more example. If I'm catching here null pointer, I'm throwing here arithmetic, but I'm catching null pointer. Okay, it is a mismatch over here. It is not going to catch arithmetic over here, right? Because it is throwing arithmetic, catching here null pointer. Then what will happen? It is going to search for the caller. Is the caller handling it? No, the caller is currently catching null pointer. So always the function where the exception is occurring, no, it will always transfer the control to the caller and check. Has it provided a mechanism over here? It has provided over here, but it is catching null pointer, it is not catching arithmetic. Okay, then the control is transferred to JVM, meaning this function is transferring this object to JVM. Otherwise, if you're handling it properly, no, then the control is always transferred to the caller and the caller handles the exception. Are you getting the concept that I'm telling you here? The caller always handles the exception. If the try and catch are mentioned, no, the control is always transferred to the caller of the function. Who is calling me? Void when is calling me? No. If the exception is occurring, no, the control is transferred. Here it is checked over here, whether it's exception, it is handling or not. If it is not handling, no, then only the object is passed on to JVM. Otherwise, if the matching catch block is found, no, automatically that block is already executed. No, nothing to worry about that. Your main is already handling it. Your caller is already handling the exception properly. Are you getting how this you can even throw this with your own user-defined methods also. You can even throw your exception in user-defined methods also. Again, wherever you are calling, no, the control is transferred always to the caller, and they checked whether caller is handling or not. If it is not handling, no, then only JVM is going to handle it accordingly. Yes, are you getting this? What I'm explaining you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Anybody is having any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Good. Then I can go ahead with this throws keyword. Let me show it to you. For throws, okay, yes. I'm going to remove this first, okay? Okay, the difference between throws and throw is very popular in examination also. They can even ask you during examination also. They can even ask you during interviews also. The difference between throws and throws is very popular. What is the throws keyword actually? Wherever the method, uh, wherever there is a possibility of arising the exception, you can, it is just an informatory message, okay? You can inform the caller. Caller means our main function here. In this case, it is main function only because you are calling your OB dot this input from here itself, okay? You can inform the caller about the exception whenever you are creating the function. No, you can mention here throws keyword. For what is the use of throws keyword? The use of throws keyword is to list out all the exceptions which may or may not occur in the program. The use of throws keyword is you can mention here list of all the exceptions. Say for example, this method is probable of catching or having arithmetic exception. Okay, I'm mentioning an arithmetic exception. Okay, this method is probable of throwing IO exception. Okay, I'm mentioning here IO exception. Okay, or maybe file not found exception. Okay, I'm mentioning here file not found exception, or maybe null pointer exception. Okay, for whatever exceptions that, okay, why it is telling file not, or the spelling is incorrect maybe. Yes, and null pointer exception. I haven't written the correct spelling. Okay, good. So if the method is capable of throwing so and so exceptions, I can inform the caller that this method can throw these exceptions in the body, so you better handle it properly. That is the use of throws keyword. Throws keyword is used to mention the list of the exceptions that are probable of occurring or reporting in this block of code. And it is always written in the function itself, right? Because the functions are going to have their own body, right? And in this body or in the scope of the function, it is possible that this listed exceptions may or may not occur. If it is occurring, you need to handle it using try and it is your way, how you want to handle it. It is again your thing. But this method may or may not throw these exceptions. What is the use of this throws keyword? If you remember that file handling, okay, if you remember that this checked exceptions, I'm talking about checked exception. If I want to read a file, if you remember that file reader example in the first session of this, then you will remember that it is always, having exceptions. See, I'm reading a file here. I want to read a.txt here, okay, and I'm writing some mechanism for handling this file. I'm writing some mechanism for, reading this file, okay. fr.read, I'm using this read function to read this file. If I'm not, if it is throwing me the exception over here, it is telling me that it must be declared to be thrown. Either you have to catch using try and catch, or you need to inform this caller that it should be declared to be thrown, meaning this function, this body of the function may or may not throw this file not found exception. So I am declaring it to be thrown. How to declare a function, how to declare an exception to be thrown? By mentioning here that this may throw what exception? File not found exception. This may throw file not found. It is the throws keyword is used to list out all the compile time error. First of all, okay, compile time means it is always used for listing out the checked exceptions. Again, it can also be used for list outing the non-checked also. I'm coming to that one later on, but I'm showing you for compile time here. So this exception is clearly gone because I'm mentioning that this method is capable of, or this method may or may not fall into file not found exception. Means this file may or may exist or not. Okay, that is the first thing. Second thing, If you are informing the caller, who is the caller of this function? Void main is the caller, right? Here is where you are calling the function. You are informing the caller, meaning the caller should be handling it gracefully. How should the caller handle it? Using try catch block. Yeah, you can mention try catch block. Try catch is the key for handling any exception that you have, okay, that you want. But who is going to handle it? Try catch. But you may want to list out all the exceptions that may or may not be thrown by this function. That is the first thing. Again, it is showing me one more error over here. It is compare time. See, checked exception. Why it is telling me IO exception? Because the file may not have any content inside it, or the file may be read protected, or you are unable to open the file. Then you have to add one more exception over here known as IO exception. IO exception is reported for what? For files only. For inputting and reading the data from files only, reading and writing of files only, IO exception is there. It may be possible that while writing also, the file is opened with two different threads. Or it may be possible that the file is write protected. You are not able to write, you are not able to read. In that scenario, also exceptions should be caught properly. Okay. So you are informing the caller that this function may or may not throw these two exceptions. Then are you catching them? Okay, if it may happen, if it may fall into these two traps, then are you catching it? I am catching one of them, but am I catching another? No, I am not catching another. No. So I may provide here two catch blocks, or like one of your friend told in the last session, you can also have this, all operators separated, and you can mention here the list of the exception. I don't know if it is working with mine or not now. I can mention here, no, I'm not able to mention because the JVM is not allowing me to mention here. It is the old version of this JDK, so it is not allowing me. But you can list out all the exceptions here itself that you are catching these exceptions. Or
maybe it was working. Once it was shown in the warning in your compiler only.
Here, it is multi-catch.
But maybe object is not mentioned there.
Here?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Because object you need to mention at last, that I know. Object you don't need to club here, you can mention the OB at last only, because any which way you are printing one OB only. No, you don't need multiple OB here. Got it? With one object also it can work, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, but it was shown in your compiler only.
Then let me catch this. If I catch the superclass, then there is no point in writing them. Okay, let me get the superclass itself. But then there is no point in listing both of them. I wanted to show you both of them. I am unable to catch the another one. No, it is not allowing me. Okay, you try it. Once you get no chance, you try it on your own. Okay, this much. This you try it on your own. Vidhi.
Yes, ma'am.
This you try it. It is not working here. Okay, but what the message I want to convey here is that whatever method is capable of throwing, you can list out all the exceptions over here. And who is going to catch them? Who will catch it? Whatever is the caller, that caller has to catch the exception. Whenever you are mentioning the throws keyword here, it is always mandatory for the caller to catch it. See, if I remove the try catch block, you are informing the caller itself initially that this may fall into these two traps. Then why are you not catching it? It is going to tell me that you need to catch it for sure. See, so whenever you are mentioning the function's declaration, the function signature with the throws keyword, you have to definitely provide the mechanism, because you are informing the caller that it may catch these exceptions. The exceptions may occur. Then you need to provide the mechanism for catching it over here, and whichever exception you are throwing over here, that you need to provide over here for catching. Getting it? What is the use of the throws keyword? Throws keyword is used to inform the caller of the function that exception may or may not occur in the function's body. If the exception is occurring, then who is handling it? The caller is handling it. Who is always calling the function? They are always calling the function from void main, right? If you have multiple function calls, like this, say for example, I am creating one caller over here, and I am calling this input function here, okay? Then this caller, whoever is calling it, it has to handle the try catch mechanism here. See, if I am calling here using this caller function, then caller has to handle this. Whoever is calling me, no, you have to handle this exception because it may or may not have this problem. The file may or may not exist. Are you getting the use of throws now? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Then I want to clarify a few differences between this, throw and throws, both the keyword. Okay, good. The first simple thing you can realize in examination also you can write the syntax, okay? The syntax of throw and throws both is different. Throw is going to have some exceptions object over here. The first difference you can quote syntax itself, okay? Syntax is always the first difference whenever you are using the programming differences. Throw is going to have the instance of what? Instance of whatever exception class you are passing here. That is the first thing. And throws is actually followed, it is actually written in the method signature itself. Okay, so whatever is the return type of the function, return type, then name of the function. Okay, then you have your parameter list. Along with that, you can mention your throws keyword, and you can write here whatever number of tracks the method can fall into. You can write your exception classes. Okay, that is the syntax difference, the first difference, right? Another difference you can mention that throw is used for explicitly or manually throwing the exception. If the try and catch blocks are mentioned, you are explicitly throwing the exception over here, okay? You are explicitly throwing the exception over here. Manually, you want to throw the exception. If the exception is occurring over there, then had the try and catch mechanism is provided, no, then you are handling it. Otherwise, JVM is going to handle the exception. But in this throws, what is happening? In the throws keyword, you are mentioning the list of exceptions that the method or the scope may or may not catch, may or may not fall into. Again, the throws keyword also, whatever function you are mentioning is in throws keyword also, it has to be whenever it is called, no, the caller has to provide the mechanism for handling it. Okay, are you getting these differences? Do you have any questions in throw and throws now? Okay, good. Multicatch is working. Okay, then I don't know which version is mine, why it is not working here. Let me try one more time. Okay, let me remove the caller first. Let me try different types of exceptions. Okay, not this one only. I am trying your arithmetic also now. Okay. And let me try to catch arithmetic. Then I am catching IO. No, it is not. Okay, OB, okay. I can solve that. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, Vidhi, it is working.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. It is throwing file not found because this file is not there. No, so it is throwing that first itself. It is not coming to read. Okay, just see this thing. It is not coming here also for reading it because it is already, file is not there. No, it is throwing file not found directly. If there was arithmetic first, no. If there was arithmetic first, then it will directly throw arithmetic. No, it will never come to the next point itself. See, arithmetic exception is occurring. No, it will never come even to reading the file. Okay, you can catch it like this. Multi-catch is there. Oh, good. One more is there. Let me see if I can show it to you or not. No, it will not work here. No, not this one. No. Okay, this is good. It was in the old version. It may not be in the newer. Yes. Okay. Anybody having any questions in throw and throws so far? Then that is okay. Then I want to show custom. Yes, Panjwani. Yes, you were saying something.
No question. Why bol
Okay. Then I want to show you custom exception, but not today. It is that is okay. I'll give you one question. Will you try and solve it? I'll give you one question itself. No need to go for this custom exceptions now. That is okay. You can try implementing these exceptions on your own. Will you try it? Try to implement these exceptions on your own. See, these exceptions that that we have seen so far, I've even listed them in the last session also. From examination point of view, the questions could be like that only. That write a program to demonstrate arithmetic null pointer. These exceptions that we have seen so far, try to implement them. Try to cause those. The question could be cause the exceptions and then catch them. Okay, that could be the question. The exceptions that we have seen already, you also try this one, input mismatch. This can occur when you are inputting, you are entering, this is actually a runtime exception, okay? Because it is, you are inputting this strings and integer, that also you try. How input mismatch exception is occurring, number format is occurring. Try these questions, okay? Try these questions. Then array and this string you can easily know. This you try. How to catch input mismatch, that you try. There's a runtime exception. How to cause it first and then how to catch it, that you try. Try input mismatch. This I haven't shown you. Okay, please try that question. I will stop presenting so you can present once you are done with that question. Meanwhile, I'll take the attendance. Ayush?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Rohan? Vipin?
Present, ma'am.
Manav?
Yes, ma'am.
Anuj? Riddhi? Riddhi is there. Yashraj? Jash?
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy? Nikita? Manthan? Smith Kumar?
Yes, ma'am.
Devansh?
Present, ma'am.
Pala?
Yes, madam.
Yashang?
Yes, ma'am.
Dipen?
Yes, ma'am.
Tushar? Yash?
Present.
Darshan Manyar?
Present, ma'am.
Verma?
Present, ma'am.
Udayraj? Rishabh? Yes. Ivanchi? Janvi?
Present, ma'am.
Anuchali? Harshvardhan? Vidyaraj? Pradhanya?
Yes, ma'am.
Bharti is there. Avinash?
Present, ma'am.
Limbani?
Present, ma'am.
Arjun?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Maharana? Tanmayraj?
Yes, ma'am.
Jignesh Prasad?
Present, ma'am.
Panjwani is there. Sushil Prasad?
Present, ma'am.
Dhruvi?
Yes, ma'am.
Naitik, Dharmik,
Present, ma'am.
Mohammed, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi,
Yes, ma'am.
Arpit,
Yes, ma'am.
Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
Yash. Yash, you are there.
Present.
Bhavdeep,
Ma'am, A40.
A40 is present, Yash. Yeah. Bhavdeep, Divya, Saif Ali,
Yes, ma'am.
Samir Alam,
Present, ma'am.
Nisha,
Present, ma'am.
Vibhusha,
Present, ma'am.
Om, Aditya, Kriplani,
Present.
Aditya Jain,
Present, ma'am.
Vedakan, Priyank,
Present, ma'am.
Tushar,
Present, ma'am.
yes, Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
Girish,
Present, ma'am.
Pathik, enrollment number, yes. Enrollment number 62, 3 is present, 61, 59, 60, 63,
Yes, ma'am. 63.
yes, Hima,
Present, madam. Pema.
yes, 65,
Present, ma'am.
73,
Yes, ma'am. 7 is roll.
yes, Mohammed is present,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Darshan Raj,
Yes, ma'am.
Dedeep, Smriti, Vaishali,
Present, ma'am.
yes, Vasu,
Present, ma'am.
Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Aliwad,
Ma'am, Smriti present.
okay, yes. Aliwad is not there. Yes, and, Vidhi, did you try that question, input mismatch?
Yes, ma'am, but I had to import its file, like its class.
Okay, can you share your screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Manthan, I have marked you as present. Dedeep, you also marked as present. You can leave the session, no problem. Yes, okay. So it is in util, no? So we can import util.star. Okay, then it is printing fine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Because we are taking input from util package in scanners class.
Yes, ma'am. But
But,
like in other exception, we did had to input, no?
no,
Sorry.
yeah, because they are in this lang package.
Okay.
Because lang package is not providing any mechanism for inputting data, no? It is in scanners package, no? So you have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
import util.star. You can add scanner also. You can add input mismatch also.
Okay.
Yes. Good. Yeah. Yes, Saifali, you can also leave the session.